and try all of this because we're gonna weld. I'm gonna need the pliers to pick up the hot stuff, and then probably use this guy to clean stuff. I've been dying to try this. What up, guys? Today is Sunday, the 4th of December. Getting close to the end of the year, getting close to the holidays. Well, technically already is the holidays, but we're getting close to Christmas. So just kind of wanted to give you guys a little recap as far as what we did for the last video. What did we do? We worked on we did lighting. We did lighting on the outside of the shop. And then we also went ahead and did some work on John's Ranger, which we do need to get back to that. I saw a lot of the comments. Somebody commented, because they saw the video of where we welded the T55 bolt, and somebody commented, "Oh, just weld the bolt back together." That was a good one. But we're not gonna do that. We have replacement parts, so we're gonna just replace them. So as far as for today, we're gonna be working on the Solara. We did promise you guys content on that, and I know a lot of you guys hit me up and we're excited for that. So today we're gonna focus on the Solara. First, we're gonna be working on making the Solara movable. It is currently on some dollies, but all the front suspension is gonna get removed. That's the plan for today. And then we need to somehow make this Solara movable. So we're gonna build something for that. We're gonna go to Harbor Freight and buy some stuff there. First we're gonna go to Dutch Bros because a friend gave me a drink that was delicious, and I was telling Rob that we need to go have that again. I've been dreaming about it. I've been waking up wet dreams. It's crazy. But anyways, that's the plan for today. We're gonna do that with the Solara, and then we're possibly gonna mock up the 2JZ in there again, and then just kind of work around exactly how we're gonna plan out the stuff, because we do need to have the 2JZ into the car before we can start planning how the suspension is gonna go down. So yes, we'll see you guys shortly. Pack of two.
So what do we have so far?
So we got the wheels. What are these really called? Are these casters? That's what they're called.
Gotcha.
So we got the casters. We got some pliers because John was complaining I didn't have any pliers for next time. So John, if you're watching this is for you, buddy. And then they had this thing, and Rob did his magic and we talked to one of the employees. Was like, hey, do 30. She was like, all right, fine. So, and now we're just getting some better belts so that, that thing can work a little better.
Stay out of the camera.
Oh, took off my jacket and I got the damn...
Oh! My mic!
Where's your mic?
Right there. Oh, my settings. I need to fix my settings. All right, later, man.
So, don't mind the microphone. I just wanted to take off my jacket. I was getting really hot. So we're back at the shop. We already brought everything down. I don't know if we recorded that or not. Really quick, we tested out the little belt sander. Works awesome. Love it. Now we're gonna focus on getting the front of the Solara, getting all the suspension components off of it. But to take off, if I take off the suspension, then the car is not gonna be a movable chassis, and I want to be able to move it back and forth freely. So we're gonna measure some stuff out. First, we're gonna take off the suspension. We're gonna jack up the car, take off the suspension, then measure the pickup points from both of those mounting points for the existing engine subframe or cross member, whatever you want to call it. Definitely not a cross member, it's more of a subframe. And then we're gonna show you guys exactly what we got planned as far as like how we're gonna be able to make this thing move around. Alright, so now we got a nice open space. Let's measure out the length of this and then cut the... So what I'm going to use to support, it's going to be really overkill. You do not need this much. Guys, you'd be surprised how cars are built. It's just a bunch of thin-ass metal wrapped a bunch of each other and just spot welded. Building a car is not as difficult as a lot of people sound, or make it sound. I'm gonna just be using some 2x4 1/4-inch metal. Extremely overkill, but it's what I have to make the kind of the dolly that's gonna be bolted onto this car. So we'll get to that. So from out to out, measures 44, but we'll call it 4 feet, so 48 inches. Just have a little excess. You just hold it. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned, but I'm probably gonna get rid of this manifold, the single turbo manifold. I just chopped it up a lot. Maybe I'll buy the same one, or maybe just get a nicer one. And then, I don't know if I'm gonna keep the stock intake manifold. Maybe I'll let you guys decide that. I did used to have an aftermarket one, but I took it off because of it wasn't gonna fit in the engine bay. But now it actually will, because as you guys know, we went through 4 different ways of how to mount this motor into that car. So technically now I could use that intake manifold, but I'll let you guys decide whether or not if I should do that. Comment down below. And there we go. Now we kind of need to figure out the center point of both sides. Oh, I got a drill. I hate drilling.
So what's the problem?
So, these step bit drills, Christmas trees, whatever you want to call it, unibit, whatever. They're all stopping at the exact same size. Like, they're all stopping right at 9/16, and they're just like destroying them. I don't know why. One of them worked. Those are like little cheapy ones. So I did go grab my good expensive one, which I have.
It fell in down there.
Oh, it did? Down where?
In that thing, I remember it falling down there. Like the big one, the $80 one, fell right there.
Where? Oh, it did. And then I brought out the big guns, and this one's still, well, it is really old and it is used up. And even this one's having a hard time. So I'm gonna keep trying, see what the deal is. I don't know if it's just starting to get too hot, and then it comes to a certain point where it just can't penetrate through the other side. We got one down, but I wanted to get it bigger so I have more room for clearance. Come back to that. You got me. Look at that. Can you see it right there? Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Right on my pinky. Ah, that's what I'm saying. Those suckers suck. Especially when they're around tools because they have magnets in them. They just stick to them. Opa. That probably cross-threaded, but it went in, so it'll just stay there. So really quick, it was throwing us off because we were seeing that the 2x4 we added, if you look at it from straight ahead, there's like more space here and less space there, so it looked crooked. But then we checked on the our mounting points, which were from the actual existing piece, and you can see in here, this one is much longer than that side. So just in case we wanted to be sure, we threw a level on the car here at the top. The car itself is perfectly leveled. And then you can see at the bottom, it's like slightly, let's see how much we need for it to be leveled. It's like it's like almost an 1/8 off level. But we want the car to be leveled, so we'll build everything off of that. Yeah, that'll be the game plan. That's what we should do.
All right, senor.
All right, guys, so pretty much what we're gonna do is I'm gonna weld this piece onto the caster itself, straight right in the center so that all the weight of the force can be right onto the caster. So we're gonna weld this up and then we're gonna bring it up to the car, mark where we need to mount. But first, what we're gonna do once we get it up to the car, we're gonna add a piece of 1/8 inch steel right underneath it. So that then we can mark, cut, do that the same for the other one. Then weld this piece onto that piece that we added to the Solara, and then bring the car down, and the car should be perfectly leveled. Let's get right to it. So as you can see, we finally got these casters all welded up to that piece. Now that piece can be removable. Measured it all out. Now let's just test it out. Drop her on the ground. That's what I was afraid of. Because of the height difference, I cut them both out. So see how that one's not on the ground? Needed to make it a little bit longer. Haha. Well, it still works. I'm happy with it. Alright, so really quick, we went ahead and we flipped the Solara around so that we have more room here in the front, and plus so it doesn't get too dusty over there with the back. Plus we have the lighting and everything. So now that we finished putting the casters in the front, the car is perfectly leveled, it's easily movable. We're going to go ahead and drop the 2JZ into the engine bay and then start doing all our measurements as far as ground clearance, hood clearance, and then once we find the easy spot, we're going to start kind of building a pedestal for the 2JZ to sit on. And then once we get the right spot, perfectly leveled and centered in the engine bay, then we'll go ahead and drop the motor, take out the engine hoist, and start building our new motor mounts. Well, we're going to build a cross member, but we need to get measurements, so the motor needs to sit in there for a little bit. And then once we get all that done, everything measured out, everything cut out and welded in. Might be bolt-in, we'll see how that goes. And then we can start working out the motor mounts off of the cross member that we're going to build. And then from there, we'll start worrying about suspension. Let's get right to it. So as most of you know, my attention has always been wanting to get the shifter and the inside on the stock location of the shifter. We did get rid of the CDU9, I'm pretty sure we mentioned that. We're going to CF transmission, which is much shorter. But it's been just too much of a problem wanting to keep the interior stock as it is. And again, the problem why we're running into all these issues is basically, I've been talking to a lot of builders. Everybody told me that the motor, as far as how far it's set forward, was going to make the car drivability really bad, which makes sense. Essentially, with all the weight in front of the wheels, when you go to a turn, you won't have all that grip that you would want. And if you come in too hot and then you turn, instead of the car turning, it's going to continue going straight. So essentially, I went and I took measurements of, I looked at a Toyota Supra, the Mark IV, with its 2J, and essentially its strut tower was pretty much center of the 2J. As far as where the strut towers are at, center of that 2J. The 2J sat a little bit forward, but pretty much it was centered. So that's where my goal is at right now. Motor's going to go center. That's where it's going to live. That's where it's going to sit. Then the ZF is going to come in, and if we have to move the shifter further back and make some kind of custom center console for it, we are going to. Unfortunately, that's just pretty much where it's at. I've been fighting it for too long. It's come to the point where this is what it's going to have to be. So that's the goal. Center of the strut tower to center of the 2J. That's where she's going to sit. That's what we're looking for. All right, guys, so really quick, wanted to give another update. So we went ahead, put the hood back into the car just to check clearances. There's the 2J inside of the car. It's just sitting on the little cart. We spaced it up to where we need it to be. And now pretty much just comes centering it up. It's pretty much centered. We might have moved it again, but the idea, let me put this guy in here. Put this sucker right in there. The idea now is to build a cross member off, which is gonna go right underneath the motor. And then we're gonna build it far back enough, the cross member, so that we also have room for the rack and pinion. I'm gonna decide whether if I'm gonna have the rack and pinion in front or behind it of the cross member. So first I'm gonna start kind of getting the center of my wheel well, figuring out where my suspension is going to be at. And then from there, we'll figure out where we want our rack and pinion to be sitting at. Definitely we're gonna go with a much skinnier rack and pinion. I need to figure out which one I'm gonna use and which one will work for this car. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as the cross member goes and everything, we're probably gonna make that another episode because we're running out of time for today and I don't have actually any metal. So I'm gonna order up metal, have that coming by, but for the meantime, we're gonna start doing our research, seeing what rack and pinion we can use, and then also doing all the measurements and mocking up the suspension, figuring out the centering. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much where it's at for now. We already have a game plan. The goal is to have this car drivable for summer of 2023. Maybe sooner, I don't know, but that is the goal. Definitely it's gonna happen for summer. Whether beginning of summer, middle of summer, or end of summer, it's gonna be in summer. So there's actually it's really not a lot of that needs to be done. The problem is all the measuring and everything figuring out, and my setback was the interior. But I just decided, let's just forget about that. Let's just finish the car. Let's finish the car, and then there's gonna be more time later on for improvement. I have a template that I can copy off of and maybe build a separate one on the side and much cleaner, and we'll go from there. Here we got our good friend, Dobie, the Doberman. So next, for the next weekend, we're not gonna have a video up. We're all gonna be busy. Robert is going to New York. He's gonna go be doing some shoots out there, which is awesome. Happy for the guy. So what we decided that we're gonna do is we're gonna try to see about doing just a live Q&A. But I am gonna post up all my questionnaires on my Instagram story. So make sure you go on there and then just drop whatever questions you have. Whether upcoming builds, what's gonna happen with the Solara, what's gonna happen with the Ranger. For Robert too, as far as like what camera he's using, what the tools he's using, what software, editing, all that stuff. So whatever questions you guys have, let us know. We're trying to make a good video to try to answer all you guys' questions. And also if you guys have any feedback, which will also be awesome, we're gonna try to do kind of like a Q&A. Also something where maybe you guys give us ideas or something for the builds or future up-and-coming builds. And maybe I'll talk about future up-and-coming builds, which I do have some in mind. But priorities first, one or the other needs to finish first before we start that. But yeah, see you guys in the next video. And yeah, make sure you guys hit us up on Instagram and drop your questionnaires.
Yeah, there it is.